Won, Chelsea won at Stamford Bridge. An interesting game, a very positive result for United. Huge mistake from Ballon d'Or nominee Jorginho. He then makes up for it by securing the penalty conceded by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. An interesting afternoon, a disappointing result for Chelsea in the context of everything. They get caught up a little bit by Man City and Liverpool that win this weekend. Man United jump back up to 8th, 5 points now behind the top 4 positions, with Ralph Rangnick set to join as Manchester United manager tomorrow. We want your views, we want your opinions, we want to know what you're thinking and feeling. Chelsea fans are unhappy. I see a lot of comments already with Callum Hudson-Odoi with lots of red faces. A lot of Chelsea fans saying embarrassing right now. We're going to delve into that a little bit more in the show. I don't know what Adam's just done here to our set. So it's falling apart. But look, we're going to go into some of your comments. We've got the panel we're going to introduce very, very soon to you as well. Smash that like button for us. I have to say, first of all, as a Manchester United fan, exceedingly happy to pick up a positive result. That's it. Positive result was all I expected, was all I thought Man United could get today. And that's what we were able to do. Some good goalkeeping at times from David De Gea, pulled off some really good saves. Some poor finishing as well. Hudson-Odoi should have scored. Timo Werner with 2 or 3 gilt-edged chances. Rudiger at the end as well. Man United certainly rode their luck and will feel that as they go home tonight and go to bed. But result-wise, United, it's more than they could probably have dreamed and hoped for. If we go back a week ago, getting pammed by Watford in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game. Good victory over Villarreal. A brilliant away result against Chelsea. Chelsea fans, I want your views and opinions, though. How are you feeling today? Another game against a big side in the Prem. We just haven't been able to get over the line. Mistakes as well. I mean, Mendy could have cost you it at the end. Was there a little bit of nerves setting in today with Chelsea, with Manchester City and Liverpool kind of breathing down your necks? I don't want to miss any super chats here, but we're going to get them in. We'll get them on the screen now. Drop points to Burnley again. We move. Don't think even Mourinho played 3 DMs. And listen, I hear you on that. Man United went into this very negatively. It was a very negative approach in terms of the way we were trying to play. It was to break on the counter, but it was to do exactly what we did. It was to try and stifle Chelsea. It was to try and catch on the counter-attack and nick a result, and it's what Manchester United did. There was no way if we opened up against Chelsea, we were coming away with anything more than a 3, maybe a 4-0 defeat. Quite a few people predicted 1-1, though, including my man Lies before the game begun, Prime, and a number of people picked a 1-1 draw in this game, maybe for this exact reason. Let's have a little look here at some more of these comments before I introduce the panel. Chelsea were lucky is what Angela Larry's got to say. That's an interesting take there. Greg says, Chelsea poorly finished, killed the game. Points. I kind of get what you mean. They're finishing. Yeah, I mean, they're better finishing today, Chelsea. They win. There's no doubt about it at all. Fair play to Fred for passing the ball back to Mendy after the goalkeeper gave it away. You know what's mad? Matic, Fred, and McTominay had very good games from a defensive point of view, breaking up a play. That nosebleed at the end, though. Imagine nicking it like that at the death. Or even more funny would have been nicking it with a goal from the corner that wasn't a corner because Ronaldo was offside. But it ends 1-1. Let's do some more of these comments coming through here. Lots of people watching. Make sure like buttons are being smashed, as I say. Man United deserved to win the game against Chelsea. It was never a pen to Chelsea, is what King Beast has got to say. We will delve into all the controversy and decisions a little bit later on in the game. I want to speak tonight on the show, though, about Jadon Sancho as well. 2 games, 2 goals. Yes, there was a huge mistake from J5 that led to the opportunity, but he had to remain composed. Was he going to square it to Rashford? Rashford had run offside, a little shimmy, buried the ball well. 2 goals in 2 games for him. Is he starting to turn that corner? Chelsea fans, the big talking point tonight is why in these big games have you just not quite turned up in the Premier League this season? Is that worrying for you? Is that a concern for you? Do you think it can impact anything else further along down the line? Let's do some more of these comments coming in here. What? We'll get onto that. We'll get onto it, J-Ron. We'll get onto it a little bit later. CFC Felix here says, Loftus-Cheek, Alonso and Cho were disappointing, selfish in the final third, and shouldn't have been up 2-0. Should have been up 2-0 in the first 10 minutes. We won't win the title because we are not clinical, is what CFC Felix has got to say here in the comments. I will be getting the panel on really soon to have their say on that. I know Chelsea are not clinical. Look how many goals you've scored recently as an example. But today, most certainly, should have done a lot better in relation to that. A few Liverpool fans in the comments saying Slippy J5. I think they're trying to get the Slippy G joke in there. Comment here says, wow, champions of Europe, the best team in the world, held for a draw against the United side who were battered by Norwich. I think you mean Watford. Great performance by Chelsea. I'm only laughing because that's just
standard troll football.
troll football. You're absolutely right there. Only 2 points behind now. We have to go on a run, though, is what Jun's got to say. Jun Mohammed, who I think's a Liverpool fan. I've seen him on the show many times before. United fans, what you're saying now, how happy are you with the performance? We want to know. JP here says, Chelsea have Kante, Kovacic, Chilwell injured, and Lukaku coming back from injury. Chelsea had to resort to playing Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Alonso. Very frustrating, but we'll take the point and move, is what he's got to say there. Interesting takes. Lukaku with the R9 boots, and he's going to be trash. The insult to a legend, plus Man United are going to come back to an elite team without Maguire and Ronaldo, is what Chris Wolf has got to say. Ronaldo, of course, dropped for today's game, or rested, depends upon your perspective. There we go. J5 Ballon d'Or, imagine, is what the Deshane's got to say. J5's taken a lot of stick today. Of course he's going to. The Don just says excuses. Look, I don't think Chelsea can use excuses against this Man United team. It was poor clinically today. You outplayed us. You had the ball. You limited us to barely any chances. Even our chance came from a mistake from yourselves. Today was individual errors and a lack of clinical edge from Chelsea. That's the only reason United was still in this game. No shadow of a doubt. Why, though? And is that a concern in these big games, Chelsea fans? Is that your one, maybe, sort of weakness in the armor this year? Could that be the case? We have another super chat here that's just come through. I've got to try and find it. It's from Josh, who says, the so-called, the letters were together and my brain didn't work. The so-called best team in the world, Chelsea, got a draw against out-of-form United at home with a pen. Should have won the game without AWB. You say that, but then AWB made a game-saving block right towards the end. It's hard to say what would happen if particular players weren't on the field of play to do what it is they've got to do. Let's have a little look here as well. More coming through. So many comments. Daniel, one of our members, says, United dogs are really celebrating a pathetic draw. Look, I would say this. Man United were tipped to get beat. All the Chelsea boys that were in the studio on Friday, were going to cook us, we're going to destroy us, they were going to beat us apart, Roadman Rudiger and all that jazz. And I think Man United fans have every right to be happy with the draw. Even if we were in great form, getting a draw at Stamford Bridge is always a good result. So I don't think any Man United fans are going to be triggered by that. Guyan here says, at least we didn't lose and we weren't hanging on for dear life. This is going to show me that we are the best team. This shows me we're the best team in England, and Tuchel isn't done with us. You've been the best team in the league so far this season, no doubt. That's why you're top of that table. But I'm going to introduce the panel now to have their say. Let us know what they're thinking. Nicole here says, no more Maguire. Take his captaincy, Ralph. Maybe we'll delve into that a little bit later on in the show as well. Any questions you've got, get them in. If you want to have a guess or an attempt at the football secret phrase, you can super chat in and just watching the little snake hips there from Sancho. Amazing. But I've got the panel here. We're now introducing them. First of all, Neeks and Lies are here. How you doing, boys?
I'm buzzing. Honestly, I told you, man, I had a good feeling about this game. We rode our luck at times, 100%, but this is a huge result to kind of build off now into the new Ralph Rangnick era. So get in.
Oh, man, I'm happy. I wouldn't go as far as buzzing.
I'm buzzing.
Because especially when, I'm not saying we deserve to win the game, but you're 1-0 up. So when they score the equalizer, you're kind of a bit deflated. And then you got that Fred chance at the end.
Yeah.
But if you ask them for a draw, look at the stats.
Yeah, it's shaky.
We're shaky. Three attempts to their 24. That is seeing that now. Like we've only just seen that. They had 2 points. That's what I'm saying. The 2.5 expected goals. This ain't about the missing players. This is about people missing very good opportunities to score. Like we Man United did ride the luck a bit today, didn't they, boys?
Definitely. If you go from the draw at the beginning of the game, 100% would have taken it. Because I always say, Stamford Bridge is one of our hardest grounds to go for. Even in our pomp, 90s, 2000s, we struggle at Stamford Bridge. To come here at this stage of our journey,
under a manager, by the way, who literally this is his second ever professional game as a manager.
And against a Champions League winning manager, Champions League winning team, a team who's flying on form, just slapped Juventus 4-0 midweek. I'll take this all day long.
Facts.
All day long.
Bars.
Now, I hear you. Adam's here with us as well. Of course, Arsenal fan, neutral to everything today. What was your take on the game, mate?
It was what I thought it was going to be. Tight as arseholes. I really thought it was going to... I thought maybe Chelsea could nick it. Lukaku coming on late. But really and truly, a draw doesn't surprise me. I just think it's just crazy. The bar is low for United fans right now. Man said buzzing.
Yes.
Buzzing.
Brother.
All right.
I don't know how to tell you this, but we just got smacked 4-1 by Watford. I'm buzzing. We got to try.
But that's an anomaly, though. I mean,
the thing is, 4-2 to Leicester, 5-0.
2-0 to City.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think
it's a lot of anomalies.
The performance wasn't that great from Manchester United.
We're not a great team.
And that's not true. Like we said, Oli tax has now been removed. So we've
What do you mean? Oli George was living today.
Yeah,
Oli George was alive and kicking at Stamford Bridge today.
I think there's a lot of questions to be answered because I look at Chelsea's team and I'm like, they whoever said that they're not clinical, I think it was CFC something. Yeah, like it's true. And I don't even know if Lukaku makes them more clinical because he misses some chances too. So there's a lot of questions to be answered, but we can get into that.
Yeah, look, I don't think Man United levels are too low. In the sense of the context of where we are. We haven't even brought the new manager, the new interim in yet. We got battered by Watford, as Leah said. We've been struggling for performances. Although Chelsea missed 2 or 3 good chances today, still structurally, from corners, to not concede the amount of corners we conceded today, I am so shocked we didn't concede a goal from it. We were better in those areas. And, we made it hard for Chelsea at times. And, a little bit of rashness, I suppose, from AWB giving away that, tried to clear it. Well done by Thiago Silva for getting there. And they got that back. But I didn't feel like Chelsea were going to score from open play today. They just weren't at the races and we had an opportunity. But, in 6 months' time, well, maybe less, maybe 2 or 3 months' time, we'd expect more. But result-wise, going away to Stamford Bridge, every season I'll take a draw in that game. Yep. Every season I'll take a draw in that game. So from a results point of view, I am over the moon.
And you had context to it too. And Carrick as the manager, a team that's flying in Chelsea, a team that in us that we have an interim manager coming in. I think it just makes it an even better result. Honestly, I would have snatched your hand off.
It was funny. There's someone in the comments, man.
Better than a win.
Us playing. Relax. There's someone in the comments talking about playing 3 DMs. Yeah, Chelsea play 6 defenders minimum every single game, regardless of who you're playing. So I don't know, you must be a Chelsea fan sounding very salty in the comments to be talking about us playing 3 defensive midfielders in this game at Stamford Bridge, considering the context. Yeah. You only play the likes of Loftus-Cheek today because Kante's injured. He would have been probably playing today as well. That would have been 7. Yeah. So you are very cheeky.
No, exactly. I look at it that way as well. Like, we only have 3 shots. Am I over the moon with that performance, buzzing at the performance? No, I'm buzzing at the result. With the new manager comes in tomorrow. We see how things kind of progress and move forward there as a football club. That's what Man United fans are rightfully focusing on at this point. From a Chelsea point of view, I would say I wouldn't be deflecting onto Man United fans right now. I'll be focusing on do you know what? I'll say this. Chelsea is still my pick to win the league. But I'll be very honest and critical about Chelsea. Their form against the top 6 could end up being the difference between winning it and not, because it's going to be between 1 to 5 points that separates the top 3 at the end of the season. And every time you drop a point, it's going to be massive. And contextually, playing Man United now, it's been the best. Who knows where Man United are going to be in 3 or 4 months' time? Chelsea and Liverpool exploited that, and City and Liverpool exploited it, and Chelsea couldn't quite do that. I want to go to some super chats first here. First of all, Cruz says, great work from United. Should have gone with 4-2-1-3, needed extra firepower up front. Chelsea don't know how to play in and around the 18-yard box. Bullies is what he says there. I've got a few of these to read out. Mohammed says, where was Reece James? If he is better than Trent, he would have showed up today, and he didn't. That is why Trent is a big game player.
Shut up, man.
Stacey here says, this is a 0.1. and we got lucky today. We'll take that and move on. We defended as a team today for the first time this season. Now all we can do as a team is get better.
Thanks.
Paul says 3 shots and he's buzzing, lightweight. Again, I don't feel no shame in being happy with this result. Anyone can beat the best. You lot are acting like you won the Premier League or Champions League. Relax. My God, it's a draw. You was 1 up for F's sake, is what Nav has got to say. Not happy that Man
Sorry,
United
bro.
fans
Let
are
me be
happy.
devastated about the draw. Oh my God.
Can I ask a quick question?
Real sort going on there.
Can we take it a step further? We're saying that Chelsea are their recent results against the big teams are not that great. I want to know if they've been found out.
No, man.
You don't think in the big games? You don't think they've been found out?
I don't think they have been found out. I think they need.
Bro,
I
let's
think
talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I think Chelsea has some finding out to do. I think they really need to find this dynamic because everyone who has been saying Chelsea are a better team without Lukaku, I disagree completely.
Okay.
I think there's a different dynamic when you don't have Romelu Lukaku. But I think they need to find their ideal attack that involves him while still getting the best out of the guys like Hudson-Odoi, who has been good since Lukaku's been out, Havertz, who has been good since Lukaku's been out, Mount. I think that's when you will see a complete Chelsea team. I don't think they are the complete team yet. I think everyone is, they have been amazing this season.
What's left to fill in?
Lukaku, the guy who has 2 goals all season, but he's a £100 million man. He will get better, and then Chelsea will get better. But I don't think this is a complete Chelsea team.
See, I think Chelsea can't win the league unless Lukaku fires.
Exactly, I agree.
Expect him to fire.
Yeah,
just not in the big games. So today, Lukaku for me wouldn't have made a difference because Lukaku is not a big game player. I don't call him small game Romelu because for a joke. It's funny, but it's reality, it's facts. His big game record is not very good.
I don't think it's about the goals, though. I think today you saw, especially with Werner, I'm not a fan of Werner whatsoever, first of all. But even if Lukaku isn't scoring goals, you saw even in the small amount of time he was playing, he's holding up Lindelof. He's holding off Bailly. He's coming in deep. He's megging McTominay and setting people through. I think Lukaku in 2021 is more than just a guy you need to score goals. And I think he adds a different dynamic that clearly Werner doesn't play.
I think Chelsea only need goals in the sense he can do all the other stuff.
Yeah,
but goals is their missing ingredient.
And it was today, and that was what the issue today was. 110%. Today's issue was just not finding the back of the net. They had the chances, they had the creativity. Barring the Man City game this season where they were outplayed. In all the other games, they were the dominant. Liverpool's hard because they
dominant against Liverpool.
They were in that first until the red card. They were dominant in that game in the first half. They just weren't finishing the chances. So I wouldn't be. I'd be concerned as a Chelsea fan in these big games if you would do it. If you were like Man United today, if you in every big game were on the back foot, barely laid the glove on your teams, relied on a little bit of luck and misfortune, then I'd be worried. If I'm a Chelsea fan right now, it's gonna click. They're one of the best teams in the world. And I still don't think they've reached their absolute peak.
But Terry, I wouldn't say they should be worried per se, but I think it's something that needs to be looked at.
That's it.
This is potentially a 3-horse title race. And in the end, your results against the big teams is probably what's going to be separated.
Yeah. And one they've lost to.
Yeah, they lost to City, drew with Liverpool and drew with us today. So you might think, okay, yeah, they'll go and beat Burnley next week or this team next week, and cool. But Man City will do that as well, and Liverpool will do it as well. And in the end, you lose the league by 2 points because you drew with Man United in the same month where Liverpool slapped them and Man City slapped them. I still think Chelsea's going to win the league. I do, especially with your African Nations Cup coming up as well, and Liverpool lose a few players. Man City still don't have a striker. I think that Chelsea will still win the league. But I don't think they can just look at this game and say, one of those days, because one of these days will happen again when they play.
I can't lie too. I think as well, the reason, for me anyways, I think Tuchel got the lineup incorrect. I think that front 3 wasn't the one he should have gone for, honestly. I don't think Werner, Ziyech, and Hudson-Odoi is a 3 that works.
Hudson-Odoi?
No, hold on, but I didn't say all 3 of them are wrong. I said that combination, that trio, for me, I wouldn't have gone with that. And I think, honestly, waiting that long to replace them and switch something up, I think kind of cost Chelsea at the end.
I get you.
Yeah. We've got some more super chats here. Football Fan Zone, of course, big Chelsea fans. Says Tuchel showing weakness but by slow reactions to make subs and change the way the game was going. Ziyech was the weak link today, is what he believes.
Imagine having a weak manager at the helm of your
you don't have to imagine.
JP here says never play Werner ahead of Lukaku and Kai Havertz, is what he's saying there. We've got another super chat that says, can we talk about Cho's shooting? He really needs to improve his finishing. Ground rollers every time the ball leaves his foot. I mean, yeah.
What for Hudson-Odoi?
Hudson-Odoi.
What are you saying, Adam? He's a generational talent.
Listen. I've got a deep love for Hudson-Odoi. I'll be real with you. And I think that guy, as I've said before, is a generational talent. But the issue is, I just don't think he's been coached correctly. I think the first chance came a little bit too soon for him. Sometimes you're not really warm as a player. You want your chance to come maybe in the 20th, 30th minute, and he would have tucked it. The second one that he had, he was kind of off balance. So really, he didn't have any clear cuts where I can say, oh, Joe, you definitely should have been scoring that one. The first one, maybe, but even then I can give him a blind.
Adam, how can you say he hasn't been coached properly when he's had coaches and he's got a very good coach now? And there's players play around in and around his age who you've seen the progression under those same coaches. This ain't on those coaches. Like Reece James, like Mason Mount. Those men came through under Lampard. Hudson-Odoi came through under Sarri, the manager before. So he was there before.
But he ain't got a run in the team like that. And it's different when you got the pressure of Chelsea or Topham on your shoulders.
What's the reason for it? Because they're all getting the same level of coaching.
He's the face of the new wave. I'm being real with you. He's the face.
Well, that is a bad face.
I think
covered in acne, then, bro.
Guys, but I think on Hudson-Odoi, though, where we've got to be really fair with him is this was his 8th consecutive start. It's the longest run of starts he's ever had in his professional career. I understand people saying he has to improve. Of course he does. But it's too reactionary to like look at it today and go, like Werner is I know you bought him for like 45 mil buyout clause, but at the time of purchasing him, his actual value was well into like the sort of 60, 70 millions. You've got to be looking at him a lot more. He's not the only Chelsea player that struggled to find the back of that net so regularly. And he'll get better and better with it, no doubt. But he might just be someone who isn't ever going to be a prolific goal. Some players are more creative.
That's it.
Maybe he just won't be that prolific player. That's where Tuchel and Chelsea have got to get the balance right between the creators and the goal scorers. Something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United got wrong time and time again. He'd start with too many strikers and not enough creators, or vice versa. It's what helped, it's what should help with a more balanced manager coming in. And that's what they've got to get right at Chelsea. It's a comment here from Dr. Hanif, who says, at some point, Man City and Liverpool are going to lose, so relax all the rival fans.
Oh, I'm of the belief that Manchester City every year go on a 10 to 15 game winning run. So this whole Manchester City will lose. First of all, you will lose too. And City will go on an incredible winning run. And you can't say, oh, you're just guessing that, because it happens every year under Guardiola.
The question is, can you match it?
Can you match it, or can you build enough of an advantage already so that when that winning run comes, it doesn't affect you as much? It'll come. Whatever you want to tell yourself, it'll come.
I hear you on that. Aswin says Chelsea are good, but they will fall off. They lack a clear goal scorer. United should move on.
But they have a clear goal scorer.
Yeah, they have one. They've got £100 million.
Small game Romelu.
So, listen.
He didn't really play today.
No, he didn't.
Nah, but
He's got a crazy Lukaku agenda.
I've got another statement here. Mo says, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I don't understand why anybody would choose Chelsea ahead of City or Liverpool to win the title. Chelsea attackers have been terrible. Chelsea fans in the comment section, do you think it's fair? Do you honestly feel like this gentleman does, that Chelsea are at least third favorite? Is that what you think and feel? Is that what you think and feel? Let us know.
We can talk about obviously Hudson-Odoi, but as Terry mentioned Werner. Ziyech has been
terrible,
a bad sign.
He's been terrible,
and he was the most experienced of all the signings that they made, especially in attacking positions they made that summer. He has been horrible. Now, I'm not saying Robbie was right.
I was right.
But Willian might be better than
Ziyech. Listen, I have this opinion on Ziyech, right? That he's just not a Premier League player because he can't play out wide, because he can't beat a man like that. No, listen to me. This isn't slander. He can go thrive in Serie A or in a slower league. Listen to me here. He can't play out wide because he's not a great 1v1 player. It's true. He can't play as an inside forward like a Salah or Mane because his movement isn't good enough for that. He can't play centrally because he doesn't have a variety of different through balls they can play. He has that one in swinger, which he plays excellently. So he doesn't do any of those three positions excellently in the Premier League. He's a flop.
He's like Matter after.
There you go.
So what? Ziyech ain't it?
I've been saying Ziyech ain't it. This ain't a reactionary thing right now. He ain't it.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, look, Ziyech. I hear you on Ziyech. He hasn't lit things up as people thought he would. Typically, it's such a common theme when you buy players that have been killing it in Holland or the Netherlands. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm guessing here. I would say you have a 6-1 chance of it working.
I agree. I might be higher than that. 100.
What's
it might
the last Dutch player that banged? You know, literally, I think Big Man I think could be him though.
No, but we're talking about straight from
immediately.
Yeah.
I think it's Van Nistelrooy.
Viewers, who was the last player to come from the Eredivisie that's come in and practically straight away
bang?
And I'm talking remained at those levels or higher.
Well, Vincent Janssen.
It's hard to know.
And we're talking about attacking players because you can bring me. Where did Jan Vertonghen come from?
He came from Ajax. No, he did. Alderweireld as well. Atletico. Yeah, in Southampton. Yeah. Ericsson is the last one.
I got one. It was Gini Wijnaldum, actually, I'd say.
Gini Wijnaldum.
Even at Newcastle, he was very good. So also Suarez. So Suarez, I felt like Suarez. Well, no, Suarez took about 6 months, but yeah, Suarez is another good one. He did very, very well. But
recently, Ericsson, Wijnaldum.
But I swear, it would easily.
We've named less than a handful. Right. So that alone says that it can't be that many. I'm sure there's more
100%.
Players who actually...
I mean, 100%. And I think with Ziyech in particular, I think people also got carried away by like the highlight reels, for example. Yeah. Right? You see these amazing and swinging crosses. I always looked at his highlight reels. He'd do an elastico, and they never show how he beats the man. They just goes to the next skill, but he never ever beats the guy for pace or anything. He's an excellent technical player, but I honestly think with his style, his speed, he belongs in a different league, in my opinion.
I heard that.
So I want to ask a question, boys. I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Manchester United now, though, in terms of moving on and moving forward, today, of course, was a very positive result.
Right.
Tomorrow, it's highly anticipated. The announcement of Ralph Rangnick will be here as the interim boss. The next game's Arsenal.
Then Palace.
There's going to be a lot more pressure on United to perform with this manager coming almost instantly, especially from rivals, from the media. They're going to want to see almost an instant turnaround. There's already been a little bit of a bounce in terms of results. Like, what are you expecting now moving forward after today?
You want to go first?
I'll tell you what I'm interested in first and foremost is the use of Ronaldo in big games. More than anything, because today obviously we're playing very defensive, so I completely understand not playing Ronaldo because it doesn't make it makes sense. He's not going to do that dog work, you might say. But if we are planning on playing more on the front foot, is that with Ronaldo, or is the style that Rangnick wants to bring, does it cater to Ronaldo? So it'll be interesting to see whether or not I guess he probably won't make the change immediately and drop Ronaldo from the team.
100%.
But as the season progresses, if he's like, this is what I want, and you're not getting it, then you may see Ronaldo on the bench more than I think it's like the 4th time he's starting the bench in 9 years.
It's crazy.
So I think he may double that this season alone. And he's getting older. It is what it is. But I think that the change in terms of how we play might take longer than some people are thinking.
100%.
You know, I'm not even a believer of we're going to have this bounce. And the reason why I say it is because, granted, we've got a good 2 results. But if you look at the bounce that we had after Jose into Oli, that was more than results. That was performance. That was insane, motivation, energy.
Crazy.
But that was because the players hated it under Jose. So once he left, it was like, weight off our shoulders. The players didn't hate it under Oli. Things were just bad. So I think for a lot of these players, Oli going isn't even a weight off the shoulders. Some of them are even feeling more pressure.
100%.
Like, we cost Oli his job. Some of them might feel that. And now they have to perform.
I think
the other way was like, finally we can be free.
I think it's more than that as well too. I think for a lot of these players under Oli, they were guaranteed their spot every single week. Maguire has no pressure to perform because he's going to play the next week. Bruno, Cristiano Ronaldo, you've already seen under Carrick, not even Rangnick, that he's not afraid to bench Bruno. He's not afraid to start Ronaldo off the bench. He's not afraid to do that whatsoever. I also feel like with Rangnick, right? At the start, like it will be a learning curve because for me, tactically, United are a million miles off of it. To get to where Rangnick, I think, wants to get to, and another manager in the summer, United needs to basically do a whole reboot of the way they play football. I think, honestly, they're years behind how the modern game has been playing for a while now. So it will take some time. But I also think after Arsenal, I mean, maybe even including Arsenal, depending who you ask, they have a relatively favorable fixture list. They play Palace, they play Brentford.
I think our next, like what we say, a big 6 clash, I'll say, not hard game because anything can be hard, but a big 6 clash is, I want to say it's Man City sometime in February? January, February. So we've got a long run now after the Arsenal game, which maybe including, where you'll say, we should be winning this game.
I have a question for you guys. So we saw the lineup out today. Me and Adam talked about it. We had kind of different opinions on it. I said I really liked it. I wanted Ronaldo to be started off the bench. Having seen how the game played out, having seen how it came, also when Ronaldo came on, for example, do you think that is a formula that in the future could be deployed more, and would you like to see it more?
Yeah, I mean, look, we used that formula under Ollie a few times. I remember playing Liverpool when the last minute equalizer from Adam Lallana a few seasons ago, with sort of split forwards with the number 9 playing or false 9 type role. So we've used it before, so I wasn't surprised to see Carrick use it. I have no idea what Ralph's going to come in and do. No one does, because he doesn't have a prescribed approach, a prescribed formation that he uses at every club he's been at. So he isn't going to come in and it's a guarantee it'll be a 4-3-3 or whatever. I do want to see a bit more rotation though. And what I've liked about the last 2 games, we've seen Bruno start on the bench. We've seen Ronaldo have a start on the bench. Football is thick and fast now, and it's played an intensity in the Premier League. I think the most intense and quickest it's ever been. One of the biggest mistakes Ollie made is continuing to play the same 6 or 7 players in nearly every match. We would hit March, April, and they would just be exhausted. They would fall off the edge of a cliff, and we need to guard against that. So seeing Ronaldo start on the bench today, we've got 3 Premier League games in a week. No 36-year-old, irrespective of what status you have, is playing 3 games in a week. In fact, most of your players shouldn't be playing 3 games in a week, barring defenders, really. There should be an element of rotation. That's why we have these 23-man squads, so we can cope with that. So I kind of look at it very much along the lines of, I just want to see, in terms of moving forward, and to your point, I just want to see a bit more rotation. I want to see us improving our pressing game and be a little bit more decisive on the ball. So when they do have the opportunity to train, it's working on that ball retention, working on the ball. That's the 2 areas where we lack. And if we add that to our game, I'm still confident we can kind of make the top 4. I'd love to get a rival's perspective though. Like, so you play Man United on Thursday now. Have you seen anything against Villarreal and against Chelsea? And of course, with the introduction of Ralph tomorrow, that you're concerned about coming to Old Trafford?
The only thing would be Sancho. I think his arrival, performance-wise to the Premier League, has been, it's been long awaited, and I don't know. I have a personal stake in that because I feel like Sancho's really good, and I feel like he can do a lot of good things. But if Tavares plays against him, I'm not concerned. So really and truly, I think. Yeah, maybe. But Fred won't do anything with it. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, ultimately, I think United, there's still more to come from you guys. And to Lias's point or question, I think I look at the fact that you played McTominay, you played Fred, you played Matic today. That's not a midfield that really scares me. And I think Ronaldo starting, I think it depends on who that's in place of.
True. I think against Arsenal, for example, that's why I was telling you, Adam, it depends on really who we're playing. Today, I honestly was very happy to see that midfield 3 because I thought it gave us a good defensive structure. It helped us keep the ball a bit better in that midfield because you have 3 guys in there instead of the 2 of Bruno playing so high up.
Yeah.
Now against Arsenal, I don't really want to see that. I would like to see maybe go back to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1-2-1-2 of Bruno, Ronaldo, Rashford,
even
Sancho.
If you had those, let's say you said play the same formation,
right?
One of those 3 in there can be replaced with Van der Beek.
True. There you go. Yeah.
So you still have the numbers, because if I'm correct, when we played Villarreal, we had the diamond, which is very similar to how we played today. You got the Matic sitting. I don't know if Matic will start against Arsenal, but you got Matic sitting, and you've got 2 midfielders either side with Bruno in the 10 or whatever he wants to do. So I think the formation-wise, I don't have an issue with. I guess probably at Old Trafford, you want
to be on the front foot. Yeah.
Ronaldo will probably start, but bringing Van der Beek for one of Fred, McTominay, or Matic. And I think you still got.
And that's what we need to do in terms of like playing that Arsenal game. Like we need to go and win now. And I think that we're Ollie's been gone. We've had 2 good results.
Can you?
Arsenal are nowhere near Chelsea standard, and I mean that I mean that as a respect to Chelsea as opposed to disrespect to Arsenal. I expect us to be. I expect us to be more aggressive. I expect us to be more on the front foot. It's a game I really want to win, and it's important because we're 5 points behind them now, and we need to close that gap. We need to get that. That's got to be done. But 2 points going into that, and again, we can't afford to lose any more ground. We can't afford to be 8 points away from the top 4.
Arsenal in the top 4
at any point.
This game on Thursday is a must.
It's massive, and then we play Palace after that, who have been difficult at times this year as well. But as you say, after that, we don't play another one of the so-called big or top 6 until sort of February time, that's when I want to see Ralph capitalize. That's when I want to see him push forward and deliver what he needs to do. And I expect to see improvements now from Man United. There are certain players I want to see more from. Even the ones that have delivered, I want to see more from Rashford. I want to see more from Bruno. Sancho, you know, is interesting.
I'm so excited.
Sancho.
I was just about to ask who you
Sancho
most besides Sancho. Then who are you guys most excited about?
Under Rangnick.
Under Rangnick, yeah.
I honestly think the player with the biggest ceiling under Rangnick, that like from where he is Fred. I honestly think Fred will reach levels like we see him play pretty good games for Brazil. Yeah. And I think United, like, it's completely drastic. But I think when you talk about a high intensity, high octane style of play, I think I just described Fred in two describing words. I think he has a huge part to play, especially as an 8 now, because this is what we're talking. Yeah, I guess this is what we're talking. We were talking about this before the game, right? Fred and McTominay, everyone dislikes them because they play defensive midfield, but they're not defensive midfielders. They're 8s. They're box-to-box midfielders. And you saw them today. Fred McTominay played pretty good games. Yeah. I'm very interested to see Fred in particular, how he looks in a Rangnick team.
McTominay was man of the match.
I mean, that's anyways, let me not say too much.
Yeah.
There's a quote, by the way, from Tuchel on this team. He said, they asked him, does this look like a Ralph Rangnick team? And he says, no, not at all.
Yeah, but then again, you know what I hate about those kind of quotes?
Go ahead.
Is there's the journalists, they do it on purpose to leave it open-ended, but it's the follow-up question is, what do you mean by that in terms of how they're playing now, or the individual players that they're good enough to? That's the question. Yeah. I know what he means. He means they're not playing how Ralph's team would play. And it's like, it's not even an insult. We expect Michael Carrick with no experience to play like Ralph. Like now, it's like dumb journalism for dumb people. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, of course, and that's of course what he's going to say, because we're not. It's like saying the Man United play like Jurgen Klopp's team. It's like, no, they don't. It's a madness to me, but. Look, viewers, you want to know what you're looking forward to next area moving forward. Chelsea fans as well. We've got a super chat here that says the way Ziyech plays, he will never make it in the Premier League. He will score some left swing-ins, but he is not going to be proper. We had a few more comments here. Joshua Jackson says Michael Big Balls Carrick is the second game in charge and got a draw against Timmy Tuchel's Magic squad. I mean, fairness, what a 2-game managerial career he's had, to be fair. Like a win and a good draw away. Man like Michael Carrick.
Why Timmy and not Tommy? I don't even understand.
Timmy's more minute. You know?
Yeah.
Little Timmy.
There's a comment here that says Saka is miles better than Callum Hudson-Odoi.
I thought you were going to say Sancho.
Hey, don't say stuff like that. It's not true. He is a generational talent.
Don't you guys get exhausted of just comparing this guy and this guy and this guy? Man,
don't ruin my business.
My fault. Go ahead. Saka's better than Messi too.
Saka's cold though. Don't get twisted.
United, if you hate AWB, send him to Arsenal. Chelsea, if you don't want Ziyech, send him to Arsenal. #Arteta out. I mean, that's some Khalid there.
Khalid
straight in. Wants him out. Turn it into an Arteta conversation. Foden, Neto, Barnes are clear of all the left wingers and right wingers that are under 23 in the Premier League.
Foden, Neto, Barnes. Harvey Barnes.
Left and right wingers. So including Sancho in that. Come on, man.
Harvey Barnes.
Rashford's under 23.
Under 23. There's a comment here that says Carrick must go too. Jadon should have stayed in the game. He has an idea of what. Sorry, he has an idea of what pressing is, more of an idea of what pressing is than Rashford. Donny should have come on a little earlier. What I would say about Carrick is this. We can't have a go at Carrick not making the right decisions. He's not a manager. He's a caretaker. And just going to be interesting, everyone that's like, Ralph knows how to run a club. If Ralph says, I want Carrick to stay, I think he's brilliant. So then I'm trusting. If we're trusting Ralph, we're trusting Ralph. Yeah. If Ralph says, I want Mickey Phelan here, he's great. Watch people's opinion on Mickey Phelan change. Like for me, I'm holding all judgment back until I see what man like Ralph does.
To be fair, I think Carrick has actually managed these 2 games pretty well.
Yes.
I honestly don't think you can complain about much. Maybe I said, I'd rather see Bruno come off than this guy, but I think he's done pretty well.
Yeah, I think in terms of when Ronaldo came on, I would have taken off Bruno. Bruno didn't have a good game today.
But that's
but in the last game, Bruno didn't start and he came on with Rashford and changed the game. True, so it is where it is really.
Yeah. The comment here says, serious question. Do United need a new right back?
Yes. 100%. And this, no disrespect. I don't mean to be rude. Wan-Bissaka, you have your proficiencies, but you unfortunately also have your deficiencies. And I think for an elite team in 2021, approaching 2022, you can no longer be an elite team, the standard that we see of Chelsea, Bayern, Liverpool, and City, with a right back who is that poor on the ball, going forward, crossing it, combining with others. That's just my humble
But he
opinion.
makes someone
Stay
today,
safe though.
Would you say it's a
Coaching issue?
priority? No.
Yeah,
Priority.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. I would say that would be one of the first signings I'd be looking to make in the next summer window.
Wow.
Yeah, do you know what?
Over a DM.
No, I'd say DM as well. DM more than that. And then
I'm again a little bit this, and I'm sitting. I've got a lot of splinters in my backside because I'm sitting on the fence. I'm gonna wait and reserve judgment on every single one of these players. And the reason I say that is this: I know you've definitely said this in the past, yes, without adding fact of it, that Ollie and the coaching staff are at PE teacher school level along those lines.
Yeah, definitely.
So my point is, if you have these players for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years playing under a manager that bad, it is then ridiculous to overtly judge the players for being good or bad. So
Fair.
For me, am I saying he's ever going to be able to do what Trent and Reece James do on the ball? I'm saying no. I know that, but I'm still intrigued to see what a higher level coach can get out of him.
Sure.
This is the player, by the way, again, I've always said it, that a number of managers that we all wanted to come into our club wanted to buy, the same as Maguire, the same as others. There's a number of players in our team that are rated internally in the game, like by professionals, but not rated by fans. It's interesting. Fred's an interesting one because half the Man United fan base like Fred and half don't.
True.
Typically, like people that tended to really like Fred were the biggest Ollie outers. They don't like McTominay. They don't like Rashford. There tends to be a pattern.
I'm making
there.
It sound like Brexit, fam.
Well,
Brexit and Brexiteers.
No, not really, because there's certain people they do and don't like, as an example. But it's kind of like I'm intrigued to who I think you're right. I think Fred could be someone that improved dramatically under Ralph and whoever the next new manager is. But I also think there are players in there like McTominay and Maguire and AWB that might surprise us as well.
I think Maguire will be good too. I think even McTominay. I just think Wan-Bissaka.
He ain't it.
Yeah, man. Like I think you're right. I should give Wan-Bissaka a chance. I hope he proves me wrong, but I have my severe doubts over that one.
I'm sure.
Wan-Bissaka is never going to be our main attacking outlet like Trent,
But I think,
I think he's good enough to not make it like a liability having Wan-Bissaka on the pitch for us.
I think the better we get, you'll see he becomes more of a liability.
Maybe, but that's why I wouldn't put it as a priority, because when is it? I don't think it's like if we're gonna, let's say, win the league next season, we have to get rid of Wan-Bissaka. I think you can win the league with Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I look at it, and I do hear your point. I do hear your point. Again, this is when top level managers they're come into play, because Ollie has tried to use AWB in the same way that Klopp uses Trent, which is stupid because that's not his skill set. That isn't his skill set. If you watched and scout him right, you knew that wasn't his skill set. Ralph ain't going to do that. Ralph will set his systems up where he isn't going to be needed to be the guy that crosses the ball in. Now, I understand your point in the modern day game. That's what's needed. That's right now. You have to look beyond the end of your nose. In 18 months' time, that may not be the way teams are creating. And
so then I'll take it back. 100%.
No, and I'm not saying you're wrong to think that now. I just think there's sometimes you've got to play a little bit of 4D chess and sort of sit back and go, okay, well, can we still create opportunities without the need of because who is there of the Trent Reece level that is available, that's purchasable, that's attainable right now in the world of football?
Can I give you an example? Look at Liverpool. When Trent bombs forward, Henderson drops in.
Okay.
All right. Why don't we have a midfielder who doesn't drop it in, and Wan-Bissaka stays where he is, and that midfielder goes out to the right? Imagine you had a De Bruyne as your right-sided midfielder in the central midfield.
Okay.
He occupies a position where Trent operates, and AWB continues to protect,
to be the limited fullback, basically.
Yeah. That's
so you don't have to.
That's
get
fair,
rid of
but
him.
Again, like I didn't
didn't
even say just crossing. I didn't even say just creating chances. I'm talking in all aspects of on the ball play.
Dribbling.
I think Wan-Bissaka is poor.
No, and I understand he could improve there and do a lot better. I think this kind of notion that you need a high level creative a fullback, or like one that's at Trent's level technically to win. Because look, I think Kyle Walker's a very good defender. True. I don't think he's as good as some people make him out to be. But City have been winning titles with like 100 points and stuff without having anybody that's been creating without anybody that's been creating opportunities and chances at the same level as Trent. Now, Cancelo's come in and he's doing that now, but they were winning these titles before he came in. So it's a great option to have. I don't necessarily think it will be a priority. Maybe it will be. Maybe Ralph comes in and then I'll hit humble pie and say I was wrong about that. But what I'm really excited about is there's one or two players that I hope really seems to improve. Silver Spring here with Super Chat says Chelsea realizing they can't rely on their defenders to score every week.
Where's Delo, by the way?
Dalot.
Yeah.
Don't.
Wherever he is,
I'm not a fan of Dalot.
We don't need to sign anyone. We have Ethan Laird. KJ will love that comment. KJ will love that comment. Yeah, KJ. Got to rate Fred's sportsmanship after the pass back to Mendy at the end. Class act. Yeah, if he hadn't have had such a good game defensively, I'd have got that. That was just so painful. You see, feed him Ronaldo, feed him in. You know, Ronaldo scoring from there as well.
The fact you tried to chip it like that too. You ain't got that in your locker, man. No, brilliant game, my man of the match, but
man was
know yourself, know your worth.
I thought it was Rivaldo in that moment.
Danny King here as well also says, I will call Laird back at this point for AWB. A lot of people fancying a little bit of him. We're gonna try and bring KJ in to have a little chat now with us. We're gonna try and do this. We'll see if there's any echo. It echoes and we won't. I think KJ's he's gone away again now. I'll wait for his face to appear again and I'll bring him on to have his say on the show. Walker is ready now. He's ready now, people. So oh no, he said no. Okay.
No. What was the comment about Walker?
Yeah, the comment about Walker is so good. He forced Guardiola to play Cancelo on the left.
And also had Delph, Zinchenko, and he should not be named as the other option on the left. So it's like you had to kind of put him on the left.
Walker is also excellent on the ball, by the way. He's very, very good on the ball.
Left back, Prison FC.
Yeah, we ain't talking about.
Sorry. I rate Walker. Terry knows that. Terry knows.
The thing with me is I rate Walker. I think he's got like a mistake in him very regularly.
True.
I always DM Neeks every time he does it, but he's always got away with it because he's got that electrifying pace. But he has got that electrifying pace. So it's like we saw it today with Bailly a few times, caught out of position, caught up with the play, etc. There's a few times again today where, again, if Maguire was playing for Chelsea today in really good position, there were times where our attackers would have got beyond him because of the speed, but he's able to keep up, and that's just part of your arsenal as a football player. If you're in that space, let's do some more of these comments that are coming through here. Can't wait for Liverpool to smash Chelsea at the Bridge like we always do in the last few seasons. I think Liverpool fans are really buzzing today because I think Liverpool fans have really had their kind of noses put out of joint. But the question I want to ask you boys before we bring KJ in a minute is, after we're sort of like over a third of the way through the season, any of you change your minds about who's going to win the title?
So who do we all have winning the title? That's the thing.
At the beginning, I had Chelsea.
I have Manchester City winning the title.
I had Chelsea.
Do you still have
Chelsea? What does that mean?
It means let's talk about it. Let's
okay, so I still have City winning the title. This doesn't change anything for me. What about you?
I've still got Chelsea.
Okay.
Chelsea are top of the league, so
yeah,
it'd be silly with me to change at this point. I think, their issue last year was scoring goals, especially in the small games. You might say teams that played like we did today. If Lukaku plays those games, he's going to score goals. So I think Chelsea still.
Talk to me at the beginning of February. And then
of course. I mean, honestly, I think...
No, we're talking now.
Nah, let's talk again. Beginning of February.
Okay.
I mean, I honestly think, bro, you say talk till February because you have a clear indication. I don't think you'll know who wins the league, honestly, until the last. It'll be so tight between these three. You're talking like May.
I think by that point, obviously we will have seen how Liverpool handle the AFCON, the small little tournament.
Don't do that.
And then
that's just sarcasm, ladies and gentlemen.
Sarcasm or racism? Which one is it really? So we'll figure out how they handle that, and then obviously as the league develops, we'll see who drops points and does whatever else. So money's still on Chelsea for now, but I think depending on how Liverpool handle it, it could be them.
Liverpool are doing a madness.
Bro,
you're writing off City then?
Yeah, I don't think City. I think them not having a striker will cause them problems at some point. And I just can't tell whether it's going to be Premier League or Champions.
Do you know what though? Like, I'm still sticking with Chelsea for now. I think this has been the weirdest year for this debate though, and I say that because if you say I think Chelsea will win, City and Liverpool fans are, why are you saying we're rubbish? And then right along the line, and I'm saying it's going to be a hair's breadth between them all. So the huge tournament that is the African Cup of Nations, that gargantuan mammoth event.
It's huge, isn't it?
Right? That, for me, that could be the difference between Liverpool winning it or not. And I'm saying if they drop 3 points in that period, that could be the difference between them winning the league. Now, they might drop points in other games and areas, but when you play your full strength team as best you can without injuries and you drop points, that's it. When you lose your players to another tournament, or when the players couldn't get back from Brazil and they might miss a game, things like that are a little more painful because they could have been there and they weren't, and that could get them. At the same time, if Chelsea's performance results against the bigger sides, the top 6, don't improve, that could cost them. City, they've scored goals in the last few games, but still the percentage is now better because of the last 2 matches. But up until the Champions League game this week, 33% of their games they hadn't scored in. That needs to improve.
That'll happen with City always score.
Yeah, exactly. So
a third of their games they hadn't scored in.
33% up until they scored up until the goal in the Champions League. So there's all 3 teams have got slight deficiencies. Chelsea have been the most balanced, but then it's about how you kick on from here. The one thing this Liverpool and City team have got in contemporary terms last 3 or 4 years is the know-how of winning leagues. Yep. That will help them, no doubt about it. And I look at it this way: like
a league in some clubs' case, leagues in others.
Okay, yeah, but Liverpool won a league. They've won a league. They know about staying power.
They've got 99 points and not won it. That's like
So it's going to be. I can't change after like today's result for Chelsea doesn't change it because the performance was there. They had a 2.5 expected goals. They missed. Werner and missed gilt-edged chances. They had opportunities. No one spoke about Loftus-Cheek's header. True. Clear header, and it hits his shoulder and goes over. Yeah. They should have scored 4 or 5 goals in this game if it hadn't been for David De Gea saves and then missing chances. So the performance was there. They're not going to have. If they played this game another 10 times in this manner, they win 9 of them. So I wouldn't be too concerned. For me, it just makes this title race even more impressive. We're going to go some calls now, though. We're going to go some calls first of all. Not Neeks is here. KJ is coming on the show to have you say. We're going to hopefully the sound remains good and there's no echo. Javern has promised me that it will. So let's see if this works. Let's do it. Hello, mate.
Is there echo?
I can't hear an echo, but go for it.
I can't hear echo either. Oh, sweet. That must mean it works. Well done, Javern. Hey, give the man a round of applause. We'd love to see it. Right. This game, man. This club. Put me on a heart attack. I cannot wait till actual coaching comes in. And you know what? Before I go in, credit to Michael Carrick. He's done this role exceptionally well considering the circumstances. 2 massive pressured games, 1 in Champions League, 1 in the Premier League, and come out with it with a win that takes us through to the next round, and then a draw that keeps us in the hunt for top 4. You can't ask anything more from him than that. So like, fair play to Carrick, and hopefully this deal gets over the line so we can have Ralph Rangnick in for the week. Now, the players. This is the time where we have to see what these players are made of. You know what I mean? Like, there's no longer the Ollie excuse. The Carrick excuse and the feeling and the McKenna excuse will be slowly be going with Ragnick coming in. Now let me see what you're made of. Today, players like Bruno. What was that today? Wan-Bissaka, yes, he made a big block, but today there's so many chances that he caused through his mistakes. Lindelof had a shaky first half. Who else was there? McTominay, again, like, good in the battle, but again, passing sideways, not driving the ball forward. Fred had his moments. Like, our team legit has so many moments where they undo all the good things they do by being stupid. And this is where we need them now to step up. We need them now to step up. We need to see what they're made of. Can you improve? Because my biggest issue with someone like AWB is that you haven't kicked on. You haven't improved. You haven't evolved. Even if it's not to become the best attacking wingback in the league, at least be the best defensive fullback in the league. Develop that side. There's still deficiencies, the same ones that we see. The back post covering, poor at it. Sometimes he misjudged tackles, like he did today for the penalty. These kind of things we need to see more from our players now. We need to see more, and it's an exciting time for Manchester United because we've got new people coming in. But at the same time, the players that are here now already, it's time to step up. And this game just showed us how far away we are from the top.
Mate, I
Completely agree.
agree. I think we've been speaking about that as well, and we agree. And I think that now that we're bringing in a manager who not only is going to, I think it's great that he's taken over for 6 months as well, because he'll really be able to get underneath that squad, learn about them as people, which will help the new manager coming in. That there'll be that report ready of who's good, bad, indifferent, etc. But you are right. It is time for the players now to have those excuses removed. We are having a coach who is recognized by everybody with authority in the game as being a high-level coach. Forget that he may not be like a world-renowned manager, but a high-level coach, a brilliant football brain. They do need to step up. And I think we can, barring probably Cristiano Ronaldo for what he's done for Man United before and what he's done in his career, every single one of these players has nowhere to hide. Whether it's
Facts.
Bruno's been our best player really for the last couple of years, you now need to improve. A bit like we've been talking about with Chelsea today. It has to be in those big games. I want to see more from Bruno Fernandes as an example. AWB is a great shout as well. I think Rashford's got another level that he can go to. I know he's only new at the club, but Jadon Sancho is a highly talented player. And I've always given the likes of Sancho, Greenwood's another player where I've always felt sorry for them. They've had no real continuity, no real plan. We've not played under a single manager in their tenure, a more advanced modern day style of football. And they're going to get that now. And it is 2 or 3 years too late, in my opinion, for someone like Rashford. We should have had this situation 3-4 years ago.
Thanks.
So they all need to now step up to that next level. There's absolutely nowhere at all for them to hide one little bit. So you're absolutely right there, mate. In terms of the Arsenal game coming up, what's your expectations now after picking up 2 very positive results since Ollie's sacking?
We have to win. We have to win. We need this, not just to go one up on Arsenal and celebrate and do whatever, but for the players' personal pride and form, we need to win. We're legit still one of the worst teams in the league in terms of form, so we need that win. It's Arsenal at home. They're a team that we struggle against for the last 2-3 years. So to get a win against them is a good start to what we need to be doing to get top 4. And it's a shame that that's how we're speaking. We're speaking like this. We're speaking like this in November when we had the summer that we had. It's mad, absolutely mad. But that's the reality that we're in. So we need to go and win. And my final point is, you see, my laird shouts aren't as mad as you guys may try to make out. Especially you, Terry. You make my laird shouts like they're crazy. They're not, bro.
It's not. Do you know what it is, Cage? They're not mad shouts. It's just that obviously I stream with you a lot, so I hear it a lot. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's like, all right, cool. It's a bit like watching the same comedy show every night. It's like, cool, we get it. No, I get it, bro. I hear you. Listen, KJ, thanks for jumping on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, brother. And we'll speak to you soon. Top man, thank you. Artful Dodger here says, imagine spending almost £1 billion to build a team, then show less ambition than Burnley did against Chelsea. Embarrassing.
Oh, what are you clapping? What are you clapping?
Artful Dodger, listen.
Do you know what it is?
I love that.
To Liverpool,
I love that.
And they had spent the most of the
Artful
summer.
Dodger's right in the sense of we shouldn't be where we are after spending $1 billion. But we've got.
You know what I could do with £1 billion?
It's celebrating the contemporary sense of it. You know, it's a little bit like saying to a team that's win literally, it's like, I know you just won the league, but you haven't won it in 20 years. So why are you celebrating so much? Like, it ain't like when you're in your heyday and you won like 4 in 5 years. That's rubbish. It doesn't make. We've got a good result today. I'm happy about the result. But Artful Dodger, I agree with you. For a football club of our stature, the pressure's on now. This team has got to start winning instantly. More games, challenging challenging at the very least instantly. There is no embedding period for this guy. And then, of course, the new manager that comes in. This squad is brilliant. Some holes, but it's a brilliant squad. I agree completely with you. Next caller on the show today, we're going to get Ziad on. Ziad is a Chelsea fan. Be good to speak to some Chelsea fans today as well. What are you saying, Ziad?
Afternoon, Terry. Yeah, very, very, very disappointed, actually. United are always a funny team for me. I always get nervous before them because for some reason we just always struggle against United. And I had the same feeling all day. I just had a weird feeling that United will come out, play well, actually, do Ronaldo will be Ronaldo. But it wasn't the case. I don't think United were good at all. Sat 6 men behind the ball and allowed Chelsea to have a ball. And typical Chelsea, against a bad side, struggled to score for some reason. You know, when we versus the likes of Juventus, Leicester away, we could have scored 6, 5. But when you play United at home, who are struggling, we can't even score one because we scored a penalty, but we didn't even score an open play goal. 25 shots.
Bro, don't worry, because Juventus, they're not that good. On my life, they're actually not that good. So I wouldn't use that as a litmus test as to how great Chelsea are doing, because Juventus are not performing well this season. So yeah, don't beat yourself up, bro. Chelsea,
I think they lost.
Ziad, are you concerned at all about not winning the league because of your form against the top six?
I wouldn't say so, because as of now we are still top of the league, and we've played a lot of the top six, right?
True.
We've played a lot of them, and we are still top of the league. What, 2 points clear of Liverpool, 1 point clear of USC, if I'm not mistaken, and that's why I wouldn't be concerned. But it's just annoying that we go on such an amazing run and fly through teams, yet when we get to the weaker sides, we struggle to score. We create the chances, don't get me wrong, we create the chances, but we can't struggle to score. Burnley, it happened. United today, it happened. And the one thing that really annoyed me today is Tuchel. I'd love to praise Tuchel, and he's done a 10 out of 10 job since joining Chelsea. But why are you taking so long to make subs? Why? What do you expect Lukaku to do with 10 minutes to go? What is he meant to do, honestly? And you bring on Mount and Pulisic, great substitutions, but they should have been 20 minutes earlier, 25 minutes earlier. Like, United was sitting six man behind the ball, and Werner's up front.
Why are you questioning the guy that delivered you the Champions League mid-season? I don't understand.
I don't know what team you support, but you're just here to troll. And
I'm not here to troll, bro. I'm not here to troll. I'm asking you a genuine question. How can you question the manager who delivered the Champions League for you? What, like, can't you trust him? Hasn't he got credit in the bank?
Bro, no manager's perfect. No one's perfect. And I literally just said I praise him for what he done. And since he's joined Chelsea, he's done 10 out of 10. But I'm sorry, there is no excuses for waiting to the 80th minute to bring on Lukaku when you've got someone like Werner. And I'm not going at Werner in any way. I still want to back him. But my point is, they've got 6 man behind the ball, and Werner is there alone. What is he going to do? And you've got Lukaku on the bench. We are creating chances against. No,
I hear you. He should have made those subs a little bit sooner tonight. And the great thing about Tuchel, though, that I've seen, and thank you, Ziad, for your call, by the way. Thank you very much indeed. Top man. I think the one thing I've liked about Tuchel is he reacts to his mistakes. He did it after the City game. He'll make his changes. He won't kind of do those things again. Someone here said, Terry, your equivalence was false about people saying you shouldn't celebrate the league. No, my equivalence isn't false at all. You're saying we shouldn't celebrate a good result because we've spent loads of money and we've been failing. So therefore, if you haven't won a league title, like Man United did in 1993, if you haven't won a league title in nearly 30 years, in 30 years, we have spent so much money and built squads, equivalency to what big money was in those days, and failed. Does that mean we can't celebrate that title because of how much we spent to get there? That doesn't make it. It's exactly the right equivalence. You're right that we need to improve as a football club, but for the individual moment in this game, if a Man United fan today isn't happy with that result, for me, I think you're being falsely negative. I do not believe your negativity is real. I believe you're making that up. Rivals have got to tell us we shouldn't be celebrating. You're doing the right job. Any Man United fan that's not happy today with this result, I think you're pretending to be angry for some type of attention.
I'm happy. I'm happy out of everyone. So you got to be happy if I'm happy.
100%. Let's do some more calls here. We're going to go to Zion. Zion's a Chelsea fan as well. What are you saying, mate?
You're right, Terry.
Yeah, I'm good, brother. What do you want to say?
Yeah, it was one of those type of games, to be honest. Let's be real. I mean, we had possession. We had the ball. We could have done a lot more that we did. I mean, to be honest with you, we had so many attempts on goal, but we just didn't get a goal from open play, which is, kind of frustrating because we've been sweeping teams away. Let's be real. I mean, Juventus, obviously, like I said, they haven't been great for the past couple of years as well. So since Ronaldo's left, and Leicester, started off the season poor, but we swept them away. And United haven't been great as well. Let's be real, in the past couple of games. So this was a chance to, keep the momentum going and, build more gap to the top of the tables. But we didn't do that. Subs were a bit late, let's be real, but it is what it is, to be honest. It's one of those games. I'm still kind of happy, but not overly happy because I think 3 points were definitely up there and we should have taken them.
Can I just ask a quick question? Not trolling. I can't even believe I need to clarify that. But anyway, do you honestly believe, or is there any part of you, no matter how small, that is worried that teams may have figured out a way to be semi-successful against Chelsea?
To be honest with you, not really, because I still think we've got, we're missing, a lot of. I mean, let's be real. Lukaku came on for 10 minutes. He couldn't do anything about it in 10 minutes. But let's be real. The connection with Lukaku with some of the attackers haven't really molded as I thought. In the season, as we was going to mold. But there's plenty more games. Let's be real. I mean, we got still tough opposition. We've got West Ham next. Let's be real, on Saturday, which is going to be another tough game at home. So I think I wouldn't say teams have figured this out, but they are trying to find out, how to stop us. And you saw that today. I mean, if you have a lot of, counter-attack, if they counter-attack us, we kind of get sloppy. I mean, that's what happened when Jorginho, made that mistake.
J5, I was surprised.
Bro, what did United do to stop Chelsea today? We didn't do anything particular.
We didn't. We did. Honestly, today it was just you didn't take the chances. This wasn't a case of every ball that got crossed in we cleared. You had gilt-edged chances. I mean, there was that opportunity to Werner that dropped from the corner, and I just went, as a fan. We've all done this with our teams where you resign yourself to that's in, and you almost like slump in your chair and that's in, and then it didn't get any swerve on it. Hudson-Odoi went through. Oh, it's going to be a goal. David De Gea pulled off an amazing save.
Rudiger
chance right there.
Rudiger. I mean, even as a defender, take the touch as well. But for me, if I'm a Chelsea fan today, I'm not even panicking. I'm upset with the result. I'm fine with the performance. Even with should have made the sub earlier, should have done this. You still create chances to win. It wasn't like that didn't happen. And look, this is the way football works. Lukaku comes on 20 minutes earlier and he's as a recurrence of his injury. You all go, why is he playing? Why did he bring him on? And I think you just got Tuchel has done enough already at Chelsea to be given a lot more time, a lot more. He's allowed mistakes without being overtly criticized, in my opinion, because he's a Champions League winner. You're top of the league. I'm not saying you're personally doing this. I think some people, I've seen some of the names of some spaces and I'm like, I can't believe Chelsea fans are being that negative. But then social media for you. Listen, Zion, top man as ever. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. We've got a super chat here. You guys missed it completely. The United front three took turns marking Jorginho. Maybe they did. I mean, it's hard to see that when you're watching via television, whether that was being done. It was a terrible mistake from him as well, wasn't it?
He was so close to winning that Ballon d'Or and the eve of the award ceremony, and he's out of the running all of a sudden. If you listen to Chelsea,
if you listen to that, yeah.
Prime.
We've got Lamin on the show now. Lamin's here. We've got Rack to come soon as well. By the way, all the super chatters, thank you. None of you have had a guess at the Football Terror secret phrase today. So on you, you might be able to win a PS5 plus some other bits and pieces. Lamin's here though. What you saying, brother?
Terry, man. Terry. You know what, yeah? I've never been more annoyed than the result that I have been for tonight. To me, this is a loss to us. This is a loss, yeah? It's a win for United, and it's a loss for Chelsea. And I'll tell you why, yeah? First things first, yeah? If Chelsea had played the way United played, yeah? I mean, if Chelsea played the way United play, we would get labeled for having terrorist football, being the most boring team here. I'm disappointed. I expected more from United. I know you're playing for a point here, but to come into Stamford Bridge and just
no.
I know we missed our chances. No. Don't you expect better from your team? Don't you expect to at least put up a fight? Like, no. I know you're back from
Let me just say for a minute.
No, I'm just saying,
Stop. Man United, you are one of the people, along with millions of others, PE teachers, trash coaches,
for real,
unbalanced squad, trash team, dirt team, and suddenly we're expected to go toe-to-toe with a team, the European champions and the team top of the Premier League. It's mad how in the space of 90 minutes, Man United have gone from you guys are going to slap us and trounce us because we're rubbish to you should be ashamed of yourself. Shouldn't Man United fans be ashamed of themselves for not for not playing very well.
Lamin.
That makes sense.
No, no, no,
Take a look at yourself in the mirror, bro.
Here's my thing. I've heard from so many of my United fans about the United way of playing, which I don't even know. To me, it's just a myth. I don't know what is this way of playing that United.
It's a myth. Then what were you expecting?
Yeah, it's such a myth because I don't get it. You play counter-attacking football, and that's all you do.
Brother, you've done it
come
again.
on.
Like
I'm annoyed. I'm right now.
There is a United way of playing free-flowing, fast, attacking, decisive, and winning football. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Hang on.
Okay.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked for not doing it. And Michael Carrick hasn't been given the job. He's literally here as part of that regime of Ole's.
Okay.
And he's just sitting there until the new team comes in. If in a year's time and after 6 months of Ralph, unless Ten Hag becomes the boss, we are doing this in the vast majority of games. You've got a point. Equally, Fergie's Man United team would often go away to Chelsea, to Arsenal, to Liverpool, and Man City when they became good and sit behind the ball and counter. Get out of your feelings and admit today. The reason you didn't win today is because you didn't take your chances. That's on you.
I agree. I was going to come to that, yeah.
One second, Lamin. Arsenal fans back then used to say the same thing. Look at Man United, just kicking us, just defending. Why don't they come out and play? Yeah, we walk away with a draw away from home or a win at home. And the league
as a United fan, as a United fan, are you happy with that performance tonight?
No. But in the context, I'm happy with the result. In spite of the performance.
If you can find me one person who has said they're happy with the way we played today, I don't know what to tell you.
In the games of
Jose Mourinho in disguise.
In all of the games of Carrick, I didn't care about the performance.
Yeah, I
wasn't expecting the performance.
Yeah.
As you say, it's the same regime that led to poor performances and results. We've turned one of them around in the last 2 games. Yeah, the results.
Yeah. Exactly.
Lamin, you've just jumped the gun a bit too soon. But don't. I'll be there. I'll be right there with you, bro. I promise you.
I'll just a bit too soon.
Lamin, you listen. I know what it is, and I can tell you're going to smile when I say this. I'm looking at the camera. The boys can't see you. You're just so angry that you didn't get the job done. You don't want to be bad, nasty towards your team. You're just deflecting. Do you know what I'm saying? You're just deflecting.
At halftime, I was so pissed. I wasn't even talking.
Your club.
I didn't even talk. The second half, I just kept quiet. I was watching with my mate who's a United fan, and he was celebrating. I was just looking at him, how shameless.
There we go. See, you're like, how are you celebrating the draw when I'm unhappy? Because it was at Stamford Bridge. It was at Stamford Bridge, bro. I'm telling you now, bro. Listen, Lamin, great call though, my friend. Thanks for coming on and giving us some active fan emotion. Appreciate that, bro. Super chat here for Red United. Long time no see, Red. He says here, he goes, this guy is just angry that they couldn't break us down since Chelsea's best player couldn't do anything. And then in brackets, he has the name Reece James. Having Reece James' name there. Next caller, we're going to get another caller on the show now. We're going to go to Rack as a Liverpool fan who must be buzzing after this weekend's results. What are you saying, Rack?
God. Yeah. Hey, guys. How's it going? First of all, I'd like to shout out the second best midfielder in Premier League history, Paul Scholes. After all the shit that Chelsea fans gave him for saying that United might beat them, he wasn't that far wrong actually. So
second best after Roy Keane, right?
And yeah, I want to shout out Prime as well in the background. He's there holding the fort. So big up Prime. Hope you're good. Look, for us, great result. It's a difficult one, right? Because I don't ever really want Chelsea to win. I never want Man United to win. So a draw kind of helps us, keeps us 2 points behind Chelsea going into the busy Christmas period. And look, United rode their luck. Chelsea had their chances, but Chelsea have also been like scoring a lot of goals and not conceding goals. Like Chelsea's XG against is not very far off Liverpool's. So they've been giving up chances, but just not conceding. So, these kind of things have a tendency after a while of reverting to the mean. So, it was to be expected at some point. And I'm glad that United took some points off Chelsea at home.
Yeah, I bet you are, mate. I bet you are. Title race heating up nicely. Rack, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Nice. Next on the show, we're going to go to Mr. Anthony very soon, one of our Chelsea supporters. Is it New Zealand or Australia? I think it's Australia that he lives in. I got that wrong before. Nearly got cancelled. Safe is on the show next. What are you saying, Safe? Safe.
Hey, guys. I'm really, really pissed off with the game.
Who did you support?
I'm really pissed off.
Pissed off, brother. Explain to me. Speak to me, brother.
Okay, my brother. First of all, you're a free hit fan. How can you celebrate a draw against Chelsea? We should have won this game. Chelsea was playing at the gear 1. Chelsea did not play out of final gear. And it was men against boys. Chelsea were all over the pitch.
Yes.
Chelsea should have won this game. And how many points are we adrift from the top of the Premier League?
A lot.
A lot, exactly. So it's absolutely ridiculous. We should have beaten Chelsea. Chelsea even said, "Hey, but that's the goal here. We don't want to win the game."
Hang on. So you just said
And
there.
AVB
You
considered a
just said
penalty.
it's men against boys, but then we should have beaten them. That makes no sense. Listen, do you want to know why we're celebrating? Because a positive result today keeps. If we lose today, and then a negative result against Arsenal, we could have ended up being like 10 to 12 points away from the top 4, which makes it very hard to make it. We're 5 points
How many
away
points
now.
away from top 4? I mean, West Ham, the shit West Ham team is higher than Manchester United. Do you see how biased you are as a fan?
But you're not letting me finish my point, Safe. Nobody's happy with where Manchester United are in the league. What we're saying is for when Ralph comes in, we want to be as close to that top 4 as possible to make his job as easy as possible. Getting points today away to Chelsea, we were 6-1 to get a result today. That's ridiculously bad odds because of how we've been.
On target, my
it's a
friend.
positive
3
result.
shots on target against Chelsea. With superstars players. It's absolutely nonsense.
Did you expect to win today? Did you expect to win today? Did you expect to win today?
Yes, I expected to win 2-1.
What? How?
No.
How?
You're not being genuine here, man.
With the superstars, with the confidence that we have, the way how we got rid of Oli.
He said superstars.
Safe. You had a nightmare. You've had a nightmare, Safe. Listen, take care, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say.
I miss you, Safe. I miss you.
Miss him so much. We're getting Mr. Anthony on soon. Mo's here with us now. Mohammed Mo, what you say? Man United Mo, what you saying?
I think it was a good game, a fair result. I think they outplayed us at times, which was to be expected. And now the season starts for us. Raf comes in, and I'm going to give 90% of the players a fresh start. Let's see what you got. Let's see if you're going to be Man United players or not.
Who's in the 10%? Who's in the 10%?
He said, we'll give 90% of the players a fresh start, and we're asking who's the 10%.
Yeah. Who is in that 10?
The 10%. Phil Jones. Look, I think, this is where the career starts for me. I mean, you get a world-class coach. There's no more excuses now. I think Rashford needs to push on to the next level. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think he had a good game. He made that mistake, but then he rectified it with that block tackle. So I think he's getting a lot of on Twitter. He's getting a lot of stick. But I think, the season starts for us now. Let Ralph come in, and then we take it from there. And then hopefully we can implement a system, and then we take it from there. We see how we do under Ralph, and we'll see. Time will tell if these players are going to be good for United or not. Simple as that.
Yeah, I hear you on that completely, Mo. Listen, great call, mate. Top man. We'll speak again soon. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much, bro. There's a super chat here that says Safe is Man United's version of Lee Gunner. We're done happy. Listen, look, I knew what he was getting at there. It's just a case of we've had the conversation with three or four other people, including this troll in here today. It's like Chelsea fans are so desperate for us to be angry of getting a draw today when all week they said they're going to batter us. It don't make sense. It don't make sense.
As I said, we didn't beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge often during our best times. There was a period of about, I think it was about from 2008 or 2009 to 2011 where we just were winning against Chelsea game after game after game. Giggs was tearing them apart, and that was one of our best periods of results under Chelsea. Either side of that, good, bad, whatever, we'd be top of the league, and we go to Chelsea and we're losing 5-0 against whoever, it's a team that's getting UEFA Cup as it was at the time. This is a tough game, always has been. So I would be happy with a draw in a title-winning Man United side, let alone this Man United.
For me, anyways, this was all about not getting humiliated, like you said, Terry, because I think the worst thing that could have happened is Rangnick comes in to a team that just got pumped 4-0 by Chelsea. And the morale of the squad has already been low in the past. and then he has to kind of pick everyone up. This for me is a good spirited performance. It wasn't a good footballing performance, but all those guys fought. You could tell there was no one cutting their weight today. And I think that's a good performance in that regard, that Rangnick can come in now. Everyone's on the same side. Let's start from now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. Like, and we're undefeated this season.
Yeah,
because that season started after Oli was being sacked. Like nothing before that even exists in my mind.
Carrick's undefeated, man.
And I need to say we have to have this conversation now. Like Michael Carrick, one of the best in the league.
Put it on the table. Statistically,
he is.
Man United's not going to thank me, but put it on the table. Carrick's
and give him what he wants.
It's true. Right, Mr. Anthony's on the show now. What are you saying, buddy? Big Chelsea fan from down under. What are you saying?
Boys, I got 3 points to make on what's happened. Basically, no Chelsea fan can complain of how Manchester United played, because we have been playing this type of football for the past, like, I think past 10-15 years, to be honest, and I'm really not complaining about how the way they played. They can play with 8 defenders, and at the end of the day, if you can nick 1 goal in and the game ends as a draw, it is what it is. With it, we replayed 9 times out of 10, we win this game, and that's that, to be honest. And defensive football, offensive football, I don't really care. The result is what matters at the end of the day, and United got the result that they were after, and it is what it is, and we move. Point number 2, to be honest, this wasn't a great result for us, but it's not a bad result at the same time. I just like to look at it in that way, because it's still 1 point, which makes us 1 point over City and 2 points over Liverpool. So the pressure is still on them. So because they cannot drop points, at least even a draw, which makes us, even go a little bit further. So teams will drop points, we will drop points, and they will drop points as well along the season. It is what it is. But, the pressure is still on them. We still have that at least a points, difference between these teams. Point number 3, I don't know whether I'm drinking the Kool-Aid or not. I watch every pre-match press conference, and it can be a lot of things that come through the marketing or something, or just PR spin on things. But I've been listening to Tuchel, and he has been saying, the players who are returning from injury, they are ready to play games, but they are not ready to play Premier League games, because Premier League games are played at a very, very high level. And that's the reason why Romelu came on a little bit late, and Mount coming off a little bit of an injury, maybe not completely match fit as well. And yes, the front 3 wasn't very, very fluid today. And the same thing, I believe we should have started Havertz, but Havertz was out on an injury midweek as well. So maybe there is a little bit of lack of sharpness there. And I'm obviously disappointed. I had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to watch this game. It is what it is, and the way it just turned out. And I watch these games just because I love the game, and I like to see how we played. We just need to be a little bit more clinical. Yeah. And I believe we will come through. And I have been telling this.
It's great to hear some good analysis and some real good honesty there as well, my friend. Mr. Anthony, long time no speak. Look after yourself, buddy, and we'll speak soon. Top man. Thank you. A super chat here says, is the phrase total football? The phrase isn't total football. No one's really guessed the secret phrase today.
Speaking of total football,
Michael Carrick.
That's another player who I'll be interested to see the future at Manchester United, Donny van de Beek. Obviously.
Yeah.
But because if he doesn't get a lot of game time under Rangnick, and I hope he does,
I think he will too.
For Manchester United's sake, and a bit for himself. I focus more on Man United. But if he doesn't, those who were, I don't really want to bring it back to it, but it's Oli has ruined his career, this, that, way. Maybe some players are just not suited to certain leagues, as you mentioned. I'm not saying Donny van de Beek isn't, but if he doesn't work under Rangnick, you have to then look at Van de Beek.
We just sat there and said, what 6-1, 7-1, 8-1 on players that are successful from Holland in the Prem and vice versa. He could be in that percentage that doesn't make it here. I hope, as a Man United fan, when I say I don't do agendas, like I have an opinion on who's good and who's bad, but I want them all to do well. I even hear it in your voice. I hear this in your voice, Lies, right? Put the camera on, Lies, while I say this. I want him to be. When Rashford makes a mistake,
go ahead.
You have far more venom in your voice than when
yes, on Rashford,
than when, say, Fred makes a mistake. I hear it, and I think it's
crazy.
No, I do.
You know what's funny about that?
Right?
Rashford's actually one of my favorite players, and Fred isn't.
But maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why.
People, we all have a tendency. Some people in life are more demanding of people they prefer, and others are more hate on people they dislike a little bit more. But my view is, I always try of course I have preferences who my favorite players are, but like I've said, if Man United drop Rashford, if Ralph drops Rashford, doesn't start another game, but we get better, you'll never hear me complain and moan. And that's all I really want to see now moving forward. And I don't care whether Donny gets game time or not, as long as we improve. I want him to be part of that. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. And as much as we were saying earlier, there'll be 2 or 3 that we think are crap that are going to improve and do well. There's also going to be 2 or 3 players under Ralph that we expect to kill it,
that won't
we're going to continue to do badly, and it's going to be like there's going to be that realization moment. Like a lot of people have been celebrating recently, like, oh, I was absolutely right about wanting Ollie out, and I'm like, it's ironic that we're more celebrating Ralph going upstairs than we are getting a new manager coming in, when for 6 years me and Neeks have been sitting here, and Adam will tell you this, and that the upstairs part was what we should all be focusing on. Everyone's ignored it, and now suddenly it's like, oh no, we all knew all along that was the most important bit. It's like, so you didn't even win the managerial debate because we did. But I think on top of that, you've got this element of the players as well. People will be very quiet when their favorite player isn't getting game time. Or say Scott McTominay becomes the linchpin in his midfield. I'm just throwing that out as an example. But look, you see your body like contort there because you're like, no. And it probably won't be him. But my point is, if it is him,
and we're winning games,
I can't wait to see. I don't even care about. I don't know how to apologize. I'm not one of these weird. I'm not a grown ass man. I don't want other grown men to apologize on the internet for getting.
Sorry, Terry.
I don't want that. I just can't wait to see how people spin it to go. Why actually meant what? You know what I mean?
Let me make my stance on this. First of all, on the Donny van de Beek thing, I agreed with everything you said, except when Terry says I don't care if he's given a chance or not. I think the biggest thing about Rangnick coming in is Van de Beek.
I said makes it or not given a chance.
No, here's the thing. If he doesn't make it, that's fine with me. I made a video even today where I said any player that does not suit the way we want to play and is not willing to work and press from the front should be offloaded or sold. And like that's or benched. And it doesn't matter who it is, Bruno, Pogba, or Ronaldo, it doesn't matter who. But I do want to see Van de Beek given chances under Rangnick. And I think that's the most important thing because he wasn't given that under the previous regime.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
What I'm saying is, but if he isn't
given chances.
Yeah, because do you not then say at that point, maybe he's not doing something in training?
Maybe. But I do think he is a good enough player. I don't think that's the worry there. So I think he will get chances. Even Carrick is going to.
I think as well. I think most fans will be far more understanding if there's someone in charge we trust.
Yeah, of course.
Because if again, I know social media didn't exist and there still would have been question mark. But having said that, no. Look at some of the Chelsea fans today. Look at some of the Chelsea fans today. Champions.
You drop 1 point in one game and this person should. Why are you starting that person? Why are you playing? Why do you start?
I think that's the point, right? And even to the point that you were saying, some people like prefer different players. At the end of the day, we just need United to win, right? So it doesn't really matter who succeeds. Again, my favorite player at United is probably Greenwood, honestly, or Rashford or Pogba. Those 3 are like my favorite at United, despite what you may think. If none of them make it under Rangnick or under Ten Hag, so be it, as long as United are a successful team. And whether that means McTominay and Matic are playing in a title-winning team, so be it.
Can you imagine if they become like the midfield version of who's from West Morgan?
There you go.
You know what I mean? AWB plays every week. McTominay plays.
Attacking.
Doesn't sound so good anymore.
Can you imagine? It's like, oh my God. But all that will then happen, I already know what will be said. Just told you Ollie was a PE teacher. That's what it'll be.
But they'd be right, though.
We got our way out.
They're ready with them excuses. But that's a great thing about football. Like, we're fans, we're here to give opinions. We get some right, we get some wrong. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing talking to you for the last hour and a half. Make sure you smash that like button before you leave and subscribe. We're back tomorrow with more content for you. The announcement of Ralph, and then straight away building up for the midweek games. We're going to have the Bet Victor show, the Bet Victor Top 6 show, which is killing it at the moment. The #1 listened to football podcast at the moment across a number of platforms, including Facebook. So a massive thank you. We've got that update this week, which is amazing. So thank you for all of you for making that possible. I don't even know how we're fitting all the shows in this week. Arsenal and Man United with a big feature back in here in midweek as well. So we're going to try something new as well. Going to try and pack this place out with fans and do fan cams in here at the same time. So if you're interested in being part of the studio to watch the game with us and do fan cams afterwards, drop me a DM and let me know. Nothing weird in the DMs. I don't want any.
It goes down in the DMs.
Yeah, I don't need any of that. Do you know what I mean? I don't need any of that. But until next time, people, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And